I've spent the past few days playing with shrimp, and as a result, I have a nice, great big freezer bag full of the shells and the tails that I took off when I was cleaning and debating them. That's a good thing, and I'm going to show you why. I am going to make shrimp stock. And I love doing this because it's a freebie. I mean, normally this stuff goes in the garbage, right? Instead, we're going to use it to pull an amazing flavor trick that's used in really high-end restaurants all the time. Now, all I have here, you see this? This is the shells and the tails from about 4 pounds of shrimp. And if you don't use that much at one time, it's not a big deal. Stick what you do have in a freezer bag, put it in your freezer, and when you have enough to work with, then you're ready to go. It'll keep in the freezer for a while. Now over here, I have, thank you, there's amazing light. Hey Bladen, can you not do that please? Thank you. Over here, I have all of the other things that we're going to use to flavor our stock. Big old carrot chunked up, and a lot of celery. Now, if you're using celery, I love to use the interior part of the celery. There is a ton of fabulous fresh flavor on these little leaves that come in the middle. So don't get rid of those. Those are great. And then this is about 1.5 onions, just big old chunks, and a big fat sprig of thyme. Now, I put this in here over medium heat, and I had melted about 2 tablespoons worth of butter. I'm going to add just a touch of oil down in there too. And all we're going to do at this point is kind of saute this off. What you want to do is develop the flavors that are in the shells and in the vegetables. I guess we're going to give this about 10 to 12 minutes. And this is all I'm going to do at this point, is sit here and poke it. So when there's something to look at, I'll bring you back and show you what it is. I don't think we even had 10 minutes pass when I said it took about 10 minutes. No, it didn't even take that long. All you're looking for is for your shrimp shells to turn that same pretty pink that a fresh shrimp does when you cook it. Can you come see what I got in here? Remember, all that's in here is a little bit of butter and a little bit of oil. See? So this is it. Your vegetables are beginning to get shiny. They're releasing perspiration. They're glowing. And you need to smell it. Always, you can tell so much about your food from the fragrances. And this tells me, very shrimpy smell. This tells me it's ready for the next step. Now, a stock is a fabulous thing. It's one of the best tricks you can have in the kitchen because you've got concentrated, amazing flavor. Now, I use the canned and bottled stuff sometimes because I just don't make enough to use up or to meet my own needs. However, when I have the opportunity, I make my own, and there is nothing like it. In this particular instance, you can use a shrimp stock as the basis for any sort of seafood preparation you want. So if you want to make chowder, if you want to make a bisque, if you want to make a shrimp pot pie, any of those things, you want this as your flavor base. It's unbelievable. Alright, so at this point, all I'm going to do is give a couple things in here that will help release the fond off the bottom. And remember, fond is French for the stuff that sticks to the bottom. You want that, that's free flavor. So this is about half a cup of white wine. Any particular type, as long as it's something that you're willing to drink. And this is just about half a shot of brandy. Now, if you don't want to use alcohols, you don't have to. I do like the flavor that they impart. The alcohol mostly burns off. You're always going to have the tiniest fraction of a fraction left, but most of the alcohol burns off. However, if you don't want to use it, substitute just a little bit of chicken broth. So you would want maybe half a cup of chicken broth, and that will let you get down in here and start scraping up all those pretty bits from the bottom. You want those dissolved in your stock, not thrown away when you wash the pan. And then, about 2 quarts of water. You just need to cover everything that's in that pan. And that's about perfect. Almost done. We're going to give him a big pinch of kosher salt. Maybe a tablespoon. And at this point, we're going to bring it up to a boil, reduce it to a simmer, and we're going to keep it on a bare simmer for only about 45 minutes. And at that point, everything in here will have released everything that it has into the liquid. So we're going to strain it at that point, and we'll be almost ready to go. So I'm going to boil it, turn it back down to a simmer, and I'll be back. Alright, we've let our shrimp stock simmer for about 45 minutes or so. Come in here and take a look. This is what you want to see. See this? Your veggies have kind of all gotten soft and done all their thing, and that big sprig of thyme has released all of its leaves into the stock pot. That's perfect. That's exactly what we want. Now, a lot of times when you're making stock, you can simmer a stock for hours, and the longer you simmer, the thicker and richer it gets. However, when you're talking about seafood stocks, there really seems to be a limit as to what you can get out of it. So when I've made beef stock, and I'll show you all that eventually, when I've made beef stock, there have been times when I have set it back here in my great big pot back here, which is currently full of Easter eggs getting ready. I've let it go all day. However, with a seafood stock, you just don't have to put that kind of time and effort into it. It doesn't seem to give you that much reward after a certain point. So all you want to do now is strain it off. And I won't make you watch all of this, but I'll show you this much of it. When you've got it in your strainer, press it down. You want every last little bit of yummy that's going to come out of those veggies. Okay, so can you see it? Come on in here. Come on in, take a look. See that? Squish it. And you see, you're going to get a lot more additional flavor out of it. Now, it's a lot less important. Here's what you're going to end up with. Wait a minute. Wait. Don't run off. Come here. This is what you're going to end up with. And now, at this point, I'm actually going to turn around and put it through a little wire mesh strainer right here, just so it will be absolutely clean and perfect. But you want, I wish I could show you. You see, it's almost thick. It has thickened just a tiny bit. And that's also exactly what you want. So all I'm going to do at this point is finish straining off my veggies. I'll run it through my little wire mesh strainer so that it's perfectly clear. And once more, I'll show you what it looks like when we're done. Alrighty then. I strained it all through the big strainer and I squished it real good. And then I ran it back through a little wire mesh strainer. Now if you want to, I've got maybe 10 little bitty tiny leaves of thyme still floating around in my stock. And frankly, that's fine. By the time I'm finished with it, nobody will know. If you want it absolutely crystal clear, run it through a couple layers of cheesecloth a time or two, and it will actually be golden and beautiful. But in this case, let's see. Can you come? Come over here and see what we got. In this case, we have this luscious golden broth, and this tastes like the distilled essence of shrimp. It is absolutely out of this world. Now, it's ready to be a flavor base for whatever I want it to be. And in this case, I'm not going to do a chowder or a stew or a pot pie or a fumet or any of those other things. I am going to make shrimp bisque. I have a bunch of shrimp still in my fridge ready to go, and that's my next step. But that's all there is to making a seafood stock. You can do it with any kind of shellfish exactly the same way. Or you can do it with lovely whitefish if you happen to have the bones and the head and all that kind of stuff. It's worth keeping. Don't throw it away. Give yourself the tools in the kitchen to just be a rock star. So there you go. Shrimp stock.